Welcome! In this short video, you will learn about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Reno Bottoms Habitat Rehabilitation and Enhancement Project and the unique habitat at Reno Bottoms. Contact information will be available at the end of this video for you to provide your input on this project. The Reno Bottoms site, outlined in orange on the map, is located at the border of Minnesota and Iowa, in a backwater area of Pool 9 of the Mississippi River, between lock and dams 8 and 9. The project area is 14,000 acres in size. The main channel of the Mississippi River flows along the eastern side of Reno Bottoms. The land is owned by the federal government and managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's Upper Mississippi National Wildlife and Fish Refuge. Reno Bottoms overlaps the boundaries of 3 states, Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and folks from each state are helping collaboratively plan this project. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, a federal agency, is studying the feasibility of enhancing and restoring the floodplain forest, backwater, and flowing water habitats at Reno Bottoms. Due to the location of Reno Bottoms, multiple states and their resource agencies, including the Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, with the cooperation of the United States Geological Survey, are working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the project sponsor, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Together, these agencies are studying ways to restore this important and vital habitat on the Mississippi River. This Habitat Rehabilitation and Enhancement Project is being completed under the Upper Mississippi River Restoration Program. Projects such as this one utilize a wide range of restoration techniques and approaches that mimic natural river processes and provide benefits to the Mississippi River and the people that rely on it. This feasibility study is funded by the federal government. The Reno Bottoms feasibility study is in the first stage of development for a water resources project. As part of the study, the interagency project team is researching different options to address the problems in the Reno Bottoms area. They will compare different alternatives to find the most cost-effective solution with the most habitat benefits. The Reno Bottoms feasibility report will document how the recommended solution was selected and the project's compliance with environmental regulations. When a draft report is ready, it will be provided to the public for review and comment. Following the public review, the report and the selected recommendation will be finalized and coordinated with the Corps of Engineers leadership for review and approval. Reno Bottoms is a mix of marsh wetlands, floodplain forest, side channels, and backwater lakes that provide important habitat and recreational opportunities. It encompasses 14,000 acres, an area about the size of the island of Manhattan. The mixed habitat of Reno Bottoms resembles what the Mississippi River looked like prior to the lock and dam construction, and provides a unique opportunity to restore and preserve a portion of the river. The forest, marsh, backwaters, and flowing water areas provide vital habitat to many fish and wildlife. Reno Bottoms is a stop on the internationally important Mississippi River Migratory Bird Flyway. More than 40% of North American migrating birds use the Mississippi River corridor as their migration route between Canada and the northern United States and the Gulf of Mexico and South America. Dabbling ducks gather in the shallow backwaters. Birders of all ages enjoy watching and listening for a wide variety of birds, including bald eagles, red-shouldered hawks, prothonotary warblers, and blue herons. Floodplain forest and wetlands provide habitat to frogs, toads, wood ducks, woodpeckers, and river otters. The backwater lakes provide important dabbling duck, muskrat, bass, and panfish habitat. It is also a place where many anglers enjoy fishing. Over the last century, however, the quality and extent of the unique forest and aquatic habitat of the Reno Bottoms project area has reduced significantly. Human-caused changes in hydrology, land use, and climate have increased water levels within the Reno Bottoms project area. The forest is also impacted by the presence of invasive plants and animals, plant disease, deer browsing, and beaver activity. This illustration summarizes the quality of various areas of the Reno Bottoms site. The northern portion has a rich mix of floodplain forest. The trees are a variety of ages and species. In the middle section, the higher water levels at the site have flooded areas of the forests, reducing the quality of the habitat. This middle area has many dead or dying trees and invasive grasses. The southern area of Reno Bottoms has some tree species diversity, but a lack of young trees could mean that forests won't regrow when the mature trees die. Further, invasive grasses are prevalent. Invasive grasses like reed canary do not provide the important roosting and nesting habitat many bird species require. The foresters, engineers, and biologists expect that without action, the Reno Bottoms site will continue to degrade. The quality of forest and aquatic habitat will decrease. Forested areas would continue to flood, expanding areas of invasive grasses and limiting opportunities for smaller trees to grow. Areas that are now forest could become open fields of reed canary grass, providing little habitat value. Due to the loss of wetlands throughout the upper Midwest, the upper Mississippi River represents some of the only habitat left for migratory waterbirds and songbirds that require the floodplain forest to stop and rest on the long journey north in the spring. To address these problems, the team studying the feasibility of restoring the habitat at Reno Bottoms has developed project objectives. The primary objective is aimed at protecting, restoring, and creating a resilient and diverse floodplain forest. The second objective of the project is focused on protecting, restoring, and creating a resilient and diverse backwater and flowing water habitat for fish and mussel species. This illustration shows what the Reno Bottoms site could look like if a project were to meet those objectives. The forest would have a wide variety of tree species of different ages. A forest with more tree diversity can provide habitat under threats of pests, a changing climate, or different water levels of the Mississippi River. The backwater channels would not be expanding, and the shoreline habitat would be stabilized. Because invasive plant species would be managed, new tree seedlings could thrive. The habitat shown here is one that provides many places for migrating birds to rest, hunt, and roost, and fish and mussels to thrive in. The team is currently evaluating many actions to restore Reno's habitat. To restore the quality of the forest habitat, the following measures have been investigated: tree planting, invasive species control, forest canopy thinning, placement of soil to elevate forests, and the restriction of flowing water from the main channel Mississippi River via side channels. To improve aquatic habitat, the team is evaluating the feasibility of levee construction, dredging, and island building. These are just the ideas the project team has come up with. If you have suggestions or background information you think could help the Corps and its partners, please share with the team. Contact information is located at the end of this video. The ideas discussed on the last slide will be evaluating using specialized habitat forest and water computer models. These models are informed by data collected in the field from foresters and hydrologists over the last decades. This data helps us understand how Reno Bottoms has changed over time and could change under different restoration actions. For a site as large as Reno Bottoms, models help evaluate how various factors may affect habitat. That, in turn, ensures a design that is resilient and meets the project objectives. The Reno Bottoms team is working on developing and evaluating project alternatives and gathering public input on the project. Following those efforts, a tentatively selected plan will be chosen and a draft report prepared. In September 2021, a draft report with a public review and comment period will be available. A final feasibility report will be completed in early 2022. If funded, construction of the project would occur after the report has been approved by the Corps of Engineers. Throughout the project construction, interagency biologists and engineers would ensure any restoration at Reno Bottoms is completed as designed. In addition, scientists would monitor the physical, chemical, and biological responses within Reno Bottoms to track project function and success. Suggestions, information, and questions from the public are welcome. Please contact the planner for the project, Jill Bathke, via email at jill.c.bathke@usace.army.mil or by phone at 651-290-5697. Thank you.